and the female keeps the child, right? And you haven't figured these things out for yourself, how to come in harmony with these things for yourself, you set yourself back, right? And so now, if you're in my community, right, on top of whatever fucking setbacks I have from how I was raised, the setback I created with lack of sexual discipline, right? Then there is this idea of the systemic things that set you back as well. Doesn't mean you don't have abilities. Doesn't mean you can't overcome all of this, right? Doesn't mean that you won't come out on top in your life. But there is a part of life, there is a part of growing up, there is a part of being a young man where you have to be honest with yourself about what you did to you, right? There is this confronting of generational curses. Then there is this concept of, let me be real about what I've done to me, to my life, to my shit that has set me steps back even further. And the reason why you gotta accept this and be okay with this and be comfortable with this and fuck your ego on this, right, is because this is going to push you and motivate you, right? It's gonna help you be real about how hard you need to go. Because you can look around and some brothers, some men, some young men, some of your peers, right, other niggas, right, they don't have as many setbacks as you. And you may be pacing yourself alongside them, right? Trying to find your tribe or brotherhood or, you know, fulfill that dynamic that I talk about where you want to have men in your age category, men older than you and men younger than you, to have that well-rounded circle as you grow as a man. You may be pacing yourself alongside somebody that their reality is not your reality. Do y'all understand that? Everybody understand that part? So now I'm going to read y'all something, right? I'm going to pivot for a second, right? It says, I think it is well for us to remind ourselves what it is that we really believe and what we really have. The answer is that we really have the key to life, right? We do not just approach life from a particular angle, right? But we have the key to life. And that key is that the knowledge, right, about life is that life is a state of consciousness, right? And so for you to exist in this state of consciousness, you have to have a real sense of what the fuck is going on, right? What the fuck is going on with you first. So you got to be man enough, right? At your young age, right? You got to be man enough. You got to find that little man inside of you, because I'm talking to young men right now, that's willing to look at himself and say, okay, listen, mama and them, daddy and them fucked up this. Then I turned around and I fucked up with this. And I might have turned around and fucked up with that too. So now these particular areas in my life are fucked up. And so as I maneuver, right, I got to get in harmony, right, like Dorsey's saying, with this concept of protecting, providing, leading myself first before I could be shit to a child or a bitch. Right? And so if I'm honest with myself about the things that were fucked up when I got delivered into adulthood as a young man and the stuff that I fucked up, I can write a real plan out for myself. Now I can get into real consciousness, right? Because I am being clear with myself about what I believe and then what I actually have going on, right? There is this belief or these feelings which comes from, like I said in the beginning of this live, what I have experienced, right? And then there is what the fuck is really going on based on what the fuck I did, right? Y'all understand this? Everybody clear on this part before I go any deeper? Because I'm finna tell y'all why this is important. And again, I'm talking to the young men. If you're not a young man, I don't care what the fuck you think about what I'm saying. This shit is law, right? So I'm gonna read y'all something else, right? Whole new area of the book. It says, too often you try to change your outer things instead of changing the inner, right? It says, then you are firing at the screen instead of the projector, right? And so the idea is, if you see somebody, right, and you think about how a projector works, there is an actual device that is projecting images onto just what is a screen. You can even put it on a wall. You can go beat the wall to fuck up, draw, and try to correct what is being projected onto the screen or onto the wall, but that's not the root, right? So it says, too often you try to change outer things instead of changing inner. Then you are firing at the screen instead of the projector. So nothing happens. But when you start to change your consciousness, you are firing at the projector, right? Not the screen. Right? So when you change your consciousness, you're firing at the projector and then things happen, right? If you don't like the picture on the screen, change the fucking reel in the projector. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining? Is everybody clear on that part? Before I go any further. Everybody clear on that part? This is important if you're a young man. You gotta understand this, right? Because especially in this part of the world, in the geography where we live at, right? Don't nobody give a fuck about your testimony from childhood but a motherfucking therapist that you go pay, right? Because your consciousness tells you this is an area I gotta go see about. Don't nobody give a fuck about why you can't protect, provide, right? Or lead yourself, let alone your reasons for why you can't lead the children or the female you chose, right? Nobody cares about that. You are responsible for figuring it out. You are responsible for becoming in harmony with these particular things, right? And this ain't cause Dorsey saying this. I'm giving y'all the real that your daddy or your mama probably ain't gave you, right? Especially if you raised in a single parent household, because they can't get out of a lot of emotional ego shit and generational curse shit and systemic shit, right? To actually be in full consciousness to rear you or raise you with these type of principles, right? So on a very hood ghetto level, I can say it to you like this to sum up everything I just said. As a young man, especially if you're black, nobody gives a flying fuck what struggles you went through growing up as a child, even though you did not deserve it. And then when you became a young adolescent, the poor choices that you made that set you back, on top of being black and coming from a fucked up family or a fucked up childhood or a lot of disadvantages, nobody gives a fuck at that point that your choices came from the beliefs and the experiences that your parent or the parent took you through or bestowed upon you. They don't give a fuck. They still expect for you to grow up, figure it the fuck out, and be something, right? You ever heard that old concept of grab yourself or pick yourself up by the bootstraps and get on with this shit, nigga? Like, this is what I'm saying in a nutshell, right? And you will spend a lifetime being offended, being in your feelings, going through depression, being mentally thrown off, angry at, women and men and the system and certain situations if you don't just eat these raw facts. You gotta eat them as a young man. And I'm telling y'all this because some of y'all mothers, they don't have the mental capacity to break it down like I'm doing. I'm telling y'all that some of y'all fathers are still in this young man space. And so he is never going to come and break it down to you. Y'all understand what I'm explaining before I go any further? Everybody understand this? And the idea is, right? I'm saying this because, again, the key to life is being in a state of consciousness about yourself, aware of what you are, aware that I am creating and making me as I go through life, right? But also being real about yourself, real with yourself and about yourself, about what you are in this world that you living in, right? The other thing is, when you realize these things, you stop being a victim to certain shit and you stop wasting a lot of your time. Now, the other side of this sword, so to speak, right? And I'm gonna say again, the first order of business is to understand how to lead, protect, and provide for your motherfucking self. Females, especially in our community, they are not going to say this to you guys. I'm going to say this to you because I'm a real one, right? Amongst a lot of other things, right? You are obligated to figure these things out for you first. So now, lust, female emotion, systemic shit that has an agenda embedded in the way that we operate and coming from history, right? fear of who and what you are and what you are able to evolve into, right, will work against you. And what I mean by that is, as you accept the shit that I just said, you will realize the shit I just named is in the same time frame working to convince you otherwise, right? So lust, female emotion, systemic shit, fear from other people, right, of who and what you are and what you're able to evolve into and become, if you fuck around and get this shit right, is working as the enemy, as the op, as y'all would say, as them niggas from the hood that you don't fuck with, right? It's working against you in the same units of time that you're trying to grasp the concept of what I just explained, to convince you that what I just explained ain't true. That what I just explained isn't what you should focus on. That what I just explained does not come first. I'm going to say this shit again because I know some of y'all, it ain't hit you yet, right? Lust, female emotion, systemic shit, fear from other people in regards to who and what you are and what you are able to become or evolve or grow yourself into, right? These things in the same units of time that you work to understand how to protect, provide, right? Look out for you. These things I'm saying you're going to have to come into harmony with, right? For yourself first before you can do it for a child or a family unit, right? These things are working in the same units of time to convince you that those things don't matter and shouldn't be put first. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining? So now, I'm going to say it in hood terms, right? Very ghetto, right? For those of y'all who ain't caught on yet, right? Nigga, why you trying to work on the shit that I just explained, right? Protecting, providing, honoring, keeping yourself safe, right? While you're trying to get married to this concept and really figure it out, coming from where you come from, up against what you up against, right? There are things, energies, spirits, demons, females, motherfucking racist shit, systemic shit. When I say systemic, I'm talking about laws, rules, regulations, unwritten agreements with the po-po and your ops and the fucking shit in our culture that we agree with that is fucking us killing us, right? That's all working against you in the same units of time that you trying to work this shit for your motherfucking self to get it right. Nigga, I'm letting you know it's rough out here. Nigga, you ever seen somebody they are, you ever watch one of them war movies, right? And so, you know, you got whatever particular unit of whatever, you know, military for whatever country getting ready to go in and execute some sort of mission, right? And so they have all their gear and they loaded up and they got an understanding, right? Because they just sat like we just sat in this motherfucker and, you know, mapped out what the plan is. We going in to extract said fucking terrorists or whatever from this particular bunker, and this we got the layout, we got what we plan to do. Now when we get out in this motherfucker, don't mean it's gonna go how we plan, right? You might have weather conditions, you might have civilians coming through this you got all kind of conditions working against you. That's what I'm trying to tell you right now, nigga. Like when we sitting down and we making this agreement on this live that I need to work on this whole protecting and providing and showing up for myself, right? I'm gonna write my plan out. I'm finna get out here and I'm gonna understand, like, I got shit that comes with me that may, you know, push or work or slow me down, work against what I'm trying to do. And I got other shit that I gotta be consciously aware of, because the key to life is consciousness, a state of consciousness, right? I gotta be consciously aware that it's bitches that got the same skin color as me, right? It's niggas that got the same skin color as me, coming from where I come from, right? They talk like me, they swag like me, that's working against me, getting this fucking mission accomplished. There are things in the environment and rules and laws and shit that ain't fair, and they ain't not fair for everybody. They just not fair for niggas like me, right? Meaning, like, coming from where I come from, the culture I'm from, the history of my people, these particular regulations and rules, the way they look at me first for certain shit that's wrong or to target me, right? This stuff is working against me. Y'all following what I'm explaining? You gotta be in a full state of consciousness of all of this and still like have that laser focus on the motherfucking target for yourself, right? And oftentimes as mothers, aunties, you know, the nurturers in the community, we ain't got 2 sticks of sense to help you with this. 2 sticks of sense to help you with this. So I'm going to say again, like I said earlier, you got to care enough to where the room shifts. Watch this. The room shifts in your favor because you are so focused and so conscious, right? You're in that state of consciousness about having to master this, right? But I have to first come in harmony with this. So now let's talk about this room shift thing, right? When you learn to lead, protect, and provide, and this becomes your code, right? So now I'm going to say this, right? When I'm saying code, right? Think of, and I'll put it in terms where, because I'm talking to the young men, think of when they create or program video games, right? Or any sort of computer programming, right? The program's not going to do anything outside of what the code that was written allows it to. And unless, right, someone comes in and messes with the code, manipulates, changes, right, intentionally or unintentionally. You ever got a virus or something that got into your computer program or your app or your phone, right? And you unintentionally let this Trojan horse in, so to speak, and it fucked up the way your shit operated. Like it was operating straight, right? Based on what you needed it to do, based on what the coding said it was supposed to do, right? And so unless something comes in and fucks with the code, shit gonna go how it's supposed to go, right? So a lot of y'all don't realize you don't have your coding, right, programmed in. And what I mean by that is you got your mom and them coding. You got the coding that this is how you had to be and the beliefs you had to have, the parts of yourself that needed to be suppressed to survive within your family, right? Based on how they was in your upbringing. You got those particular codings and, you know, programs in. But as a young man, you have yet to sit down and write your code, right? So this is your sign, it's live, that you got to sit down and write your code. You got to write out the mission statement, the rules, the guidelines in which I'm going to follow, right? That's best for me to stay in a state of consciousness, right? Because that's the key to my motherfucking life, right? As I'm on this journey of getting in harmony with leading myself, protecting myself, providing for myself, right? And so when I write this code, I got to be conscious of the bugs, of the Trojan horses, of the scammers, so to speak, right? Who are the scammers, right? You will have outside sources that you can see legitimately coming from afar. That, nah, you one of them, you gonna fuck up, you trying to get in here, infiltrate, and fuck with my coding, right? Then you got those bugs, those Trojan horses, those scammers that they come in with a pretty face, small waist, fat ass, you know, soft skin. Then you got those scammers that come in that you know them already. Like you came from old girl, she pushed you out. She bought you them outfits, right? She fed you for X amount of years, right? You got them scammers that come in and damn, he look like me. I got on these Jordans, he wear the same Jordans, we from the same set, like he's from the same hood, right? Regardless of who and what you come in contact with, energies, family members, fat asses, good sex, you have to be in a state of consciousness to realize when something has fucked with your code.
It's like that dangerous.
You ain't wrote your own code. If you ain't programmed your own code, right? You not gonna understand this shit. You not gonna realize old girl coming over there letting you nut in her every other day, right? It's fucking with your code, nigga. Laying up with that bitch, having all them babies, and she keep just talking about what you gotta do for her and them, and you losing sight of what the fuck you gotta do for yourself in order for you to be anything to her or them baby. It's fucking with your code, nigga. sitting up with that nigga, rolling up all them joints back to back to back. It's fucking with your code, nigga. All them pills you popping and shit, right? It's fucking with your code, nigga. Sitting up listening to your mama with all them fear-based ass mindsets and all that shit coming from what your daddy did to her and her struggles, right? Cause her code ain't right. It's fucking with your code, nigga. Trying to honor all this street shit by a certain set, nigga. It's fucking with your code, nigga. The fact that you keep condoning and eating this shit that's teaching you to kill people that look like you is fucking with your code, nigga. So now when it's time to wake up and protect and provide and, you know, do that shit, right? Do your shit. Stand on business for you first over everything else so that you can be something to everything else that you involved in. Your code off. Your shit bugged, dude. You got one of them laptops that got one of them fucking viruses in that bitch. Like, you got some shit that we trying to just open regular apps on this motherfucker. It don't open because protecting, providing, being a leader for yourself, this regular shit. This like hitting Control P and the motherfucker printing. Your Control P don't work. You hit Control P. Your shit don't print. The day starts and you don't work. You don't provide for yourself. You don't protect yourself. Your code so fucked up. You an enemy to somebody say the wrong thing to you, you a crash out. And you ain't crashing out about you. You crashing out about some shit that's outside of your consciousness. You crashing out about some shit that is triggering you, right? In a certain state of mind. It ain't even doing shit to you, right? So you throwing away your whole future. You throwing away everything you built for yourself. You throwing away just your opportunities to even build anything for yourself if you ain't got shit. Nigga, cause your code done been fucked with, or you ain't never write that bitch out for yourself. I hope y'all understanding what I'm explaining. I hope that this resonates with some of y'all as young men, right? Your priorities ain't wrong, right? If you never prioritize shit from jump, right? Message. Some of y'all think the problem is, oh, his priorities wrong or my priorities ain't in order. But it ain't shit you ever prioritize anyway, nigga. You just being ran by the environment around you. Meaning you ain't actually prioritizing nothing. Marketing, big farm, fucking the rap music, the entertainment industry, things in your community, beliefs of the people that raised you that you don't want your life to really look nothing like theirs, right? It's what's prioritizing stuff for you. You actually ain't prioritized shit. So the statement, your priorities in order, these ain't even your priorities. These your mammy priorities. These that bitch priorities that you got a baby from. These the priorities of your homeboys. These the priorities of the man that own the job that you work. These the priorities of the person on the internet that you watch their content the most. These the priorities of the motherfucker that's giving you this shit in this victim season of these ain't your priorities. So I ain't even finna sit here and say that your priorities ain't right or ain't in order. You ain't even got no priorities, which makes it worse. Write the code, nigga. Write your code. You want to play the game? Write your code out. The rules have to be set. I've said this before. If we sit down to play chess, and there's no set of rules, right? Just like when you finna play spades, every black person know, right? Or most of us know, we finna sit down and play a game of spades. You got to state what the fucking rules is because there are different versions of this game, right? So you got to fucking decide what rules we using. Sit down and play spades with somebody where these two partners operating off of different rules than what y'all finna fight. Shit finna be all over the place. Sit down to play chess and one person playing like it's checkers and you following the rules, right? You moving your motherfucking horse up to and to the right and the left. They sliding that bitch diagonal across the board and all kind of. How the fuck can we play this game responsibly if we operating off of two different sets of, okay, now message, right? When you write your code as a man, this might be a little bit too far for y'all. I'm trying to go light, right? You write your code for yourself as a man. Stay on subject. Keep your brain on topic right now. You write your code. You lay your rules out for this game of chess that we about to play, right? How you gonna play it with a motherfucker that they don't agree with the rules, right? Meaning I'm finna play this bitch like checkers. I'm jumping over shit. We going one space with every piece in whatever direction, right? You operating off chess, right? How we gonna organize this, right? Now peep this. When y'all go get females, right? And you don't got no code written for yourself, or you got one and she's not in agreement or in compliance or submissive to the rules or the code that you set out, how the fuck y'all gonna do anything together? Nigga, y'all can't even sit down and play a friendly game of chess or checkers together. You can't even get that bitch and partner up and play spades with a motherfucker that your code and what the fuck they doing is in opposition. This the problem with a lot of y'all. The ops ain't cross town. Think about this. Your old girl that raised you. She raised you. Nobody taking away not one motherfucking thing that she did, right? But now, when I became grown, I put aside childish things. It's childish as fuck to sit around and expect the beliefs of your mother, right? To be the beliefs of you and to be your code for yourself as a man when she ain't a fucking man. You got to get off that mama boy ass shit and get out here, right? Yo motherfucking code. Nah. If you ain't learning shit, if you ain't putting yourself in new rooms, if you are not consciously being aware of what the fuck is wrong with you, right? Because you're so busy watching ass, chasing trash, right? You gonna end up in a space where your life will prioritize the shit, the agenda, the priorities, the stuff that is valuable to everybody else other than you. And it's a lot of y'all as men, especially in my culture, that is where you started being depressed at. When you realize I wake up every day and as a man, right? Most of my mental capacity is consumed with shit outside of myself. I don't have much left for me to pour into my own cup, to protect, to provide, to lead, to function, right? As a man should for himself first, to do anything to a child, a woman, or to the world or his community. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining? Be aware of what's fucking with your code. Be aware of if you ain't write no motherfucking code for yourself. I hope y'all learned something. Peace and blessings until I see y'all again. If you're in my book club, I'm going to see you tonight. Make sure y'all ready on time. Oh, listen. October, I think it's 5th or 6th. I don't know which date. It's October. I think it's the first weekend in October. Be on the lookout. The link is in my bio. Another episode of Love Dorsey Live. It's being filmed, and there's always the opportunity to purchase your ticket to be a part of my live audience. For those of y'all that was in this past live audience, definitely drop a comment and let them know, you know, they can expect the real. You damn near gonna have a moment of being about to cry. It's about healing. We talk about everything, right? The other thing is, if you ever need a one-on-one, or you're trying to get in one of my Zooms, you're trying to better yourself, you're trying to level yourself up, you're trying to fix yourself financially, mentally, emotionally. We do all that over here on this page. So you can text the number in my bio, 678-965-0698. Frank, I see you saying I'm there. Somebody said it was awesome. I cried. Yeah, they got me this close to crying. Y'all know I can't let y'all do it to me that easy. That be my goal going in. I'm not gonna cry. We coming in this bitch to tackle some issues. I'm not going in like that. If you're trying to join my book club, DM me. I'm very picky about my book club because we meet 2 to 4 times a month. We meet once in person a year. I spend a lot of time in y'all energy. So, you know, it's just some people that can't sit with me if you're not serious about educating yourself. Somebody said it was amazing. It definitely was. When that brother got up there and started talking about the shit he done been through, the shit that he went through just as a child, off of just the parent, man, Frank, when I made eye contact with you, nah, you ain't gonna hit. That's why I looked at your ass, because I'm knowing if I look at Frank, I ain't finna be on that soft ass shit. No, but for real, that shit was, it was energy in the room. Right. When he started talking, but you want to be moved, all you gotta do is let a black man tell his story. That one always gonna be true. You ever want to be moved? Sit down and let a black man tell you his story. You drop the tears, Amanda. So October, first weekend in October, the link is getting ready to be, the new tickets are getting ready to be put on my website. So make sure you lock your spot in, because it's definitely an experience. No, it definitely make you feel something inside. $100%, I appreciate that. Y'all make sure y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. Book club, I'll see y'all in a minute.